WAZ-TV presents Ignite Elementals, Session 4, Seller Appointments with Don Aldrich.
We are going to get started here right on time with our Seller Appointment Ignite session. So I am super excited to have Don Aldrich leading this session. He is the master of listing presentation and appointment, in my opinion. And you can do me a favor and mute yourself. Getting a little feedback. Thanks, Thomas. Yeah. So he, in my opinion, is the master of listing presentations. Just when you hear him have the conversations, he sounds very natural. You're going to hear tie downs. He is somebody that practices what he preaches. So everything he's going to tell you today, I can personally tell you, he does it. I mean, he literally was walking into the room after I think I heard him on the phone already at least 3 times this morning with people. And he's here at 5:30 at night when we're still here making calls. And he hosts open houses and he door knocks. So everything he tells you today, he does. And he is successful because of what you're going to learn from him today. So, Don, we are super excited to have you here.
Thanks. God, pressure's on now. Jeez. Okay, so
do you want me to pull up some
slides? Want to bring up that
slides?
first screen?
Yes, sir.
So we'll kind of follow the bouncing ball.
All right.
So we're going to talk about seller appointments, and you know this is this is showtime. And I'll just start. I should have brought it in. At family reunion, I attended a scripts class, you know. And I knew the instructor, David Long, who was a long time with Mike Ferry. Very polished presenter. I mean, he makes me look like I'm in kindergarten. And he had an Oscar up on the podium, and it was a real Oscar.
Wow.
And so I think the presentation was labeled "How to Give an Oscar-Winning Performance," and it was just about this and scripts, and you got to practice and you got to know what to say, and it was about how to give an Oscar-winning presentation every time you meet with a seller, because and we're talking sellers today, and so I'm just going to be in that mindset, and so you know every time you go out, it's you know it's showtime, right? You got to bring it.
Yeah. And
it was just, even though I'd heard David before, I mean, it was just, you know, I sat in the front row. You always want to sit in the front row when you go to any seminar, because that's when you learn the best. And so it just reiterated the importance of knowing your scripts and knowing what to say. But it elevated Tom and myself to, it's like, okay, you know, there have been times where maybe we weren't as good as we could have been. And it's showtime, and you need to give an Oscar-winning presentation when you go on these presentations. And so afterwards, he said, and if anybody wants to have a picture taken, well, and the Oscar was, I think David was a theater major, you know, 30, 40 years ago, but like his grandfather actually won an Oscar, and it was for like screenplay. He wasn't an actor. He was like a producer or something, but it was a real Oscar, like from some movie back in 1948. And he said, if anybody wants a picture with it, do it. And so Tom and I ran right up. And I mean, within 2 seconds, the line was like 70 people long. So we both took a picture of ourselves holding an Oscar. And I have it taped on the back of my door. And I got it at home too. Just reminding myself, okay, you're on. And these people deserve your best. And shame on me if I don't bring my best.
I love that.
So, you know, it is showtime.
I love that.
So the very first screen said we want to talk about preparing, what we bring.
There we go. Oh, sorry.
The sellers found their agent.
What the sellers
want.
want.
What do the sellers want? Well, and do we normally unmute folks?
Yeah, they can, you guys.
Okay.
We want to make this as interactive as possible. You guys know that. Sorry.
I'm totally okay if you guys unmute and, you know, stop me midstream, ask a question. I mean, this is not a lecture, okay? This is a two-way street, because I'll learn from you guys too. So by all means, you know, unmute yourself, ask a question. Feel free to interrupt. It's real estate.
Yeah.
Right? It's give and take. So how the sellers found their agent? Internet. referral, friend, neighbor, sign, personal contact. Yeah. Well, you can control the personal contact, right? If you reach out to them, you can control the internet. You can control open houses. To some extent, you could even control referred friend, neighbor, relative if you're talking to that friend, neighbor, and relative. So you can control that.
Right.
Right.
Right. And I think something that we talked about yesterday and this week just with open houses too is remembering that just like it says here, you know, you're almost on an interview, right? The neighbors, the nosy neighbors are some of your best people that come in because they could be sellers interviewing you to see what kind of open house you're putting on. So just, it's nice that that's on there, and it's not a huge piece of the pie, but it's on there and it's important.
Well, and to that end, when somebody comes in, you know, I always ask, oh, you know, hey, thanks for coming in. Of course, do you want some gloves? You know, I have a mask, gloves, sanitizer, and 95% of people coming in don't. But I always ask, did you find it by the MLS or did you find it by the signs? And that kind of starts it off. Oh, okay, great. And do you live in the area? And let me ask you, are you, and they'll probably say right away, well, I have an agent. Okay, great. It shouldn't stop you.
Right.
Everybody has an agent. Great, what's their name? You know, Susie Smith. Oh yeah, right. Sure. So don't let that stop you, but questions asked. Oh, great. You know, which home again, being more direct, which home in the neighborhood do you own? Versus saying,
Not like that.
Do you own a house in the neighborhood? No. Now you got it. Whereas you say, which home in the area do you own? Oh, we don't live in the area. Oh, great. It just leads a little more naturally what area you're from. It might be from Tucson, you know, they might be coming down or up, right? So, you know, what brings you to the house? Oh, we're looking for a friend, or, you know, you get all those answers.
Yeah.
But, you know, we find that we get two types of people that come into open houses. One is obviously somebody that's looking to buy a house. Is that you? And then you go from there, right? Or we get sellers too. People checking me out, checking out the competition. You know, You're thinking of selling your home. Oh, you are. So that's again, a totally different conversation. So again, knowing what to say and practicing it, guys, so that you can do it, you know, on the cuff is going to lead you to getting more leads at an open house. And at the very least, at getting their number so you can say, you know, can I send you the KW app? Yeah. And then you got them. And I've started doing that and working that skill set, trying to get everybody I can to at least get them an app.
Right.
Even if they got another agent.
Right. It's not going to hurt.
Yeah. Hey,
Just
would you like an additional app to help you find the house that you want? I'm good. Okay, great. Or what do you mean? Well, here it is.
Yeah.
And what's your phone number? And then before they know what they're doing, okay, you got it.
Right.
So anyway. Okay, so what does a seller want? Well,
from their agent. Sorry, I covered that one.
That's okay. So what the seller wants is, when they're sitting down with you, they want to know, what can I get for my house? How long is it going to take? And can you do it? I mean, that's about it. Now, of course, there's other, what's it going to cost me? What's the process? But bottom line is, what's it worth? How long is it going to take? And do I think this agent is my agent? Those are the three, you know, holy tenets, if you will. So you've got help to sell the home in a specific time frame, help the price on competitive, help fix up the home and sell for more. Great. And what you should do, though, you do not want to find this information out once I sit down with Jackie. That is not the time to go, so Jackie, where are you moving? And how soon do you have to be there? And are you talking to other agents? And, you know, oh yeah, my mom's an agent. And I'm like, why am I here? Right. Okay. So do you want to talk? We got the pre-listing, right?
Yes.
So we just did a presentation with Joe. We just filmed a whole pre-qualify and a listing presentation the other day. So, and I talked about it a little bit. So in the pre-qual, and again, I've got the script and it's going to be available live, I guess, to everybody.
Yeah, so the video
some
that
point.
Don's referring to is for the PCX program, the Online Growth Challenge that's been revamped and revitalized. What Don filmed with Joe yesterday was an example of the whole presentation in Prequal that'll be available in about a month when the Online Growth Challenge comes back up.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'd like to see it because I want to. I can't believe I said that. You know.
No,
or I had
good. I'm
had
sure of
you
it.
know, something in my nose or whatever. So on a pre-listing though, what you want to do on a pre-qualify, you want to ask as many questions as you can, and you want to get this information ahead of time. Even if your appointment is tomorrow night or 3 days from now, you know, I want to ask Jackie, you know, whether it's when I set the appointment, and sometimes if it's going well, and Jackie says, sure, I'd like to talk to you about selling my house. You know, Jackie, in order to do a great job for you and save you time when we get together, I want to prepare. I've got a set of questions I'd like to ask you. Do you have a few minutes to answer those now? And it might have taken you 15 minutes to build that rapport to get the appointment, and it might be too much at that time. And they go, no, I really got to go. Okay, well, thank you for setting the appointment for, you know, Friday at 6. What would be a good time to call you back and just spend just 10 minutes on the phone? And so book a phone call appointment.
Agreed.
And by the way, would your significant other, husband, wife, partner, spouse, anybody else involved in the decision, would they be available for that phone call too? They may not be, and it's okay, all right? But definitely you want a pre-qual.
Do not skip this step.
Don't skip this step. It is so, I have time at times, and then I go on the appointment, and the appointment takes longer, and they throw stuff at me that I could have, if I'd known ahead of time, I could have done a better job of handling. You know, I could have brought a card from a San Diego agent that I know. I could have realized, oh God, they got a nephew that's an agent, and I could have prepped for that objection. I could have practiced that objection, so it would have been really smooth rather than, oh, your nephew's an agent. Well, let's talk about that versus be prepared. Don't skip the step, all right? Even if you don't get all your answers out, all your questions answered, it is so crucial. And so when you do pre-qualify, you do set yourself apart, because guess what? A lot of agents don't. Hi, Jackie, how you doing? So where are you moving to? And blah, 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 blah. And they, you know, the first hour, they're finding out all the questions. Meanwhile, the seller's sitting there going, how much is my house worth, right? I don't care that you play golf or you saw my golf trophy. I don't really care about your dog, you know. I
don't have time to small talk.
Yeah, right, and by the time the agent gets around to making the presentation, they're like, you know, isn't Jeopardy coming on, you know, right?
Right.
You don't want that, right? They're going to appreciate you taking time ahead of time. And if you think about it, the pre-qual is like, you know, when you go to the doctor. When you go to the doctor, hey, Dr. Smith, no. Who do you see first?
The nurse.
Receptionist.
And really, before that, what do we have to do before that? I got to fill out all the forms.
Well, yeah, that's right. So you go to the receptionist, fill out all the forms, turn that in, wait. Now you see 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes later, you go into the room, you sit there and wait, and the nurse comes in, takes your height, your blood pressure, right? Yep. All that. And then you sit and wait for the doctor.
Right.
They've prepped you. If I went in the doctor's office and I just saw the doctor, I'd go, what happened? You know, did you lose it? Did you fire everybody? You know, you'd be a little suspect if a doctor didn't have some help, you know? Yeah. This isn't 1860, you know, and where the doctor comes out in the horse and buggy. So pre-qualify. You will set yourself apart from an agent that doesn't. So if they get around to the point where, well, what do you do differently? That's a question. Well, first of all, you know, Jackie, you know, I spent half an hour with you getting all these answers. Did the other agent do that? No. Oh. So do you want to work with an agent that's prepared, or do you want to work with an agent that just wings it? I mean, you can use it as leverage. But that's just a sidebar. You want to pre-qualify. It saves you time. It gives you information. If you can find information out ahead of time, why not do that then, so you can prep for it and be ready to go to battle with it. And you can practice it, and when you're there, You give a smoother presentation. It's more of a conversation, sing-songy, right? Like I'm being right now. And the more comfortable she feels, the more comfortable I'm going to feel. And then it's going to be easier for her, to sign the contract versus if it's an interview,
Right.
So you're going to San Diego, you're going, it's get all of it ahead of time. And we have a set of questions. I've got them. I'm sure you've got them. Just have them with you. Okay. So any questions about that from anybody? You had one.
I was going to say, what do you feel are maybe 3 of the most important questions on there that you think agents maybe don't have on theirs or tend to skip over?
Okay. Well, very, very quickly. You want me to just run through them?
Yeah,
quickly?
I think that would be helpful.
Do you want to just do one really quick?
Yeah, we'll breeze through it. So I'm going to make it super easy.
Right.
I'm not going to give objections. I'm just going to roll so you guys can hear it.
Right. And I mean, this could be a 10-minute conversation.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. So understand, I don't normally do it that fast. I'm going to go fast. She's going to go fast. But listen to the questions. So, and we're on the phone, so we're not face to face. So ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, Jackie.
Yes.
Hey, Jackie. Don Aldrich over at Keller Williams. I'm just calling to confirm our appointment next Tuesday at 4:00. Does that time still work for you?
Yep, that still works.
Awesome. So before I come out, there are a number of questions I need to ask you so that I can do a really good job for you and save you time. Do you have a couple of minutes to answer those questions now?
Yeah, that's fine.
Good. So if what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident that I can sell your home, are you planning to list your home with me when I see you on Tuesday at 4:00?
Yeah.
Oh, you are? Great. Okay. So you're not planning on interviewing any more agents for the job of selling your home?
No, we don't have any on the schedule.
Awesome. Well, I like those odds. So I like the way you think. I'm excited about that. So tell me again, where are you moving to?
We are moving to Tempe.
You're moving to Tempe, and you're writing everything down, guys. And how soon do you have to be there?
Really, as soon as possible, we'd like to be there.
So as soon as possible. So when I sell your home in the next 30 days, would that pose any problem for you?
No, not at all.
Great. Okay. I'll make a note of that. And when I see you, Jackie, how much do you want to list your home for?
It'd be great if we could list for about 500.
So about 500,000. Okay. Excellent. And how'd you come up with that price?
Seen some neighbors' houses go up for sale.
Seems
They're all around that price, it seems.
Okay. So you've seen neighbors go up for sale, and it seems everybody's around that price. Probably been on Zillow a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay, good. And as a professional real estate agent for 35 years, I study homes and prices every day. Therefore, I assume you'll list with me at a price that will cause you to sell, correct?
Oh, yeah. We definitely want to sell.
Excellent. So what would be a price that you wouldn't go below?
Wouldn't go below 470.
So $470,000. Okay. That's draw the line in the sand. All right. Good. And how much do you own on the property?
We owe 300.
You owe about 300,000. Good. Have you verified that with the lender? Do you have a financial statement?
We have our last mortgage statement.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you'll have that handy at the presentation, that'll help us. And again, that's just private information for the title company and me, and because we want to know how much you're going to net when we sell the house. Okay.
Okay.
And then I'll take the name of the mortgage company and the phone number too. All right.
Okay.
So you haven't thought about selling this home yourself, right?
Oh, no.
No. And you want me to get all your cash out. You don't want to finance for the buyer, right?
Oh, correct.
Good. And would you quickly describe your home for me, Jackie?
It's 1 level. We have 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, updated kitchen. There's a pool in the backyard with some grass area too. So it's a little bit bigger than the average backyards in our area. And everything is pretty modern. Nothing needs major updates.
Okay, so it's a single level. You got a pool in the backyard. You got a bigger yard than most. Sounds like a lot of things have been upgraded, correct?
Correct.
Good. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being a fixer-upper and 10 being drop dead, model perfect, remodeled, where would you place your home?
I'd say about a 7.
About a 7. Okay, and interesting. So what would make it a 10?
Well, we've lived in it a few years, so maybe if someone moving in will want a fresher coat of paint, or the carpet's in some areas have been worn down.
Okay, so fresh coat of paint and some newer carpet would elevate it from a 7 to a 10.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'll be sending over a package of information by email. Will you and your significant other take a few moments and review it?
Sure.
And will all the decision makers be there Tuesday at 4?
Yes, we will.
Great. Do you have any questions for me before I arrive?
Gosh, not that I can think of right now.
If she gives one, you say, okay, great. So you're concerned about the commission. That'll be the first thing we talk about when I get there, okay? Just make a note of it. Don't handle objections in a pre-call. Just make notes. Okay, Jackie, so I appreciate that. I'll write that down. We'll address it first thing when we get there. Now, I've only spoken to you, and believe me, it's been a pleasure. Does John have any questions for me?
No, he, the only thing he was concerned about was the commission, but you said we'll talk about that.
Of course. Yep, we'll talk about that. And if he has any other questions and he'd like to call me prior to us getting together, by all means, have him call me. Happy to do that.
Okay.
I just don't want him to feel left out because he's an important part of this deal, okay?
Great.
So, our meeting really should only take between 15 and 30 minutes, just depending on how many questions you guys have. Is that okay?
That sounds good.
Awesome. And one more thing. So if you have a copy of that mortgage statement and a set of keys out for me, then we'll be set to go, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Great, appreciate that, thanks. Couple of mistakes I made. I used the word home. When you talk with a seller, it should be house. When you talk with a buyer, it's a home.
Why, Don?
Home is where we live, where we, love, where we celebrate, right? House, we're selling. It's an entity. It's a car. So try to use house with sellers and home with them. Just, it's the little things that make a difference. And again, I'm not really warmed up, so I caught myself a couple of times not quite spot on. But those are the basic questions. So, you get back to the 3, where are you going? How soon do you have to be there? Are you interviewing other agents? And even if she said 3, I go a little deeper and I go, okay, you're going to interview. So I'm one of 3 agents. Great. And again, I'm writing all this down, guys. And I didn't do a great job repeating back what you had in the house because I didn't write it down. If I even just did shorthand, right, I would have extrapolated on that a little more, right? So even if she says she's got an agent, I would say, that she's interviewing agents. Awesome. So you're talking to 3 agents. Am I first, second, or last? That's going to tell you where you are. Well, you're last. So if you're last, you better get them, yep, right? If you're first, you better be really, really good because you can still get it if you're first, if yes, you're really, really good, okay? There's an old adage in real estate, be the last agent they talk to and be the first, just be the best. So, well, we're going to interview 7 agents. Oh my God. Okay. Where are we? Well, you're the 4th one. Okay, great. So in that situation, good luck, right. But that's a kind of an outlier. Let's just say they're going to interview 3. All right, great. And so Jackie, let's say I'm in the middle. Okay. So Jackie, we're on the phone. So you've interviewed, so I'm one of 3. Is that right?
That's right.
All right, great. Well, 1 in 3, I like those odds. So you've talked to 1 agent, right?
Correct.
And let me just ask you, is that agent, are they still in the running?
Yeah.
Okay.
They are.
Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. So if they say, nah, I don't think so. Okay, great. So what you're saying is it's 1 out of 2. My odds just went up, right? And if they say, yeah, we haven't eliminated anybody yet. Okay, great. When's the last interview? Oh, they're coming Saturday at 4. Find out when that is. And then even when you're there, you might want to try and book a second opinion or a meeting for Saturday at 5 after the guy or gal's left. So those are the...
And I know someone put in the chat box, is there a script for this? And really, you guys can't see it, but Don's looking at a sheet of questions. He's just so fluid with the questions that it sounds like wait, how did he get so good at that? He got so good at practicing the questions. And there are scripts in our PCX shared drive for the person that asked that, in our script, in our working with sellers. There's pre-qualifying questions that are very similar to this. So in terms of a script for the conversation, this particular conversation is a list of questions, and it's how you bring in your personality when you're asking them and how you show that you're listening back. So a good way to practice the script is to do it just how we played back and forth. And again, we took something that's probably normally more of a 10 to 15 minute conversation, and we shrunk it down to 5 so that you guys could get the gist of it.
And when you role play this, you could do what Jackie and I just did. Don't be long and drawn out as a seller when you're role playing. In other words, if you got a 30-minute role play, if Eric's going to role play with Jim, if you do it fast, you can each be the agent and the seller 3 times, 5 minutes each time. All right, so you don't have to get long and drawn out. You might want to say 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-story, got a pool. So you practice your skills of all that. But the other stuff, just, I'm moving, I got to be gone by, don't give each other a hard time. Get used to making it. So if I'm driving and somebody happened to call me back and it was a pre-qual, I'd say, gosh, I'm driving. I do have a set of questions for you. Now, I do have these in the car, too. They're on a small.
I believe you do.
But I'm not going to look at them. I've done it enough that I can probably get through most of it just by memory, okay? You won't be able to do that. So when I do it from here, I still have this in front of me because I don't want to miss anything. And it makes me better. And they can't tell I'm looking, right?
Yeah, I had no idea he was looking at a list.
And I not that I was doing this, but
even if he was, I wouldn't have known on the phone.
I was, keeping it in order. So, and again, the more you play, you play at the level you practice. So if you don't practice, you're practicing on a live body.
Right.
I want my surgeon, I want my workout partner to have done this before with other people. What do you mean I'm going to do 1,000 burpees? Have you ever done it? Yes, I have. Okay. I'm going to watch you and I know what's good. And I'm not going to let you hurt yourself, right? Don't hurt yourself by practicing on the people. Practice with each other.
Right.
And you'll get better just over time. It'll be stiff for a while. It will be. And here's when you go into so are we okay with the pre-qual?
Oh, yeah.
Are there any other questions on the pre-qual at all?
You guys can unmute yourself.
Yeah, you can. Anybody out there? We're having a good time. How about you guys?
I know we are. It's nice to be having a conversation.
How many do we have?
Let's see. 12.
Wow, a dirty dozen.
That's right.
Okay. So that's the pre-qual. Don't skip it. You'll pay. You'll pay because you'll lose.
I think we all have a story of where we messed up.
Are you kidding?
I know the one when I was asking you which one have you skipped. I didn't ask if all the stakeholders were going to be at the appointment, and I showed up and I gave a whole listing appointment to the wife, and then had to go back and give a whole other listing appointment to the husband.
At least you were able to do it.
Yeah, at least I was able to go back. But let me tell you, when you talk about time and energy and effort spent, like that could have easily been avoided if I would have done that.
I would have rather done that though than show up and I meet with the wife and she goes, well, I got to talk to my boyfriend or my husband I'm like, she's not going to be able to communicate me to them. Right. And I should have found that out. So in a pre-qual, if that happens, well, happens with guys a lot or with strong women. Well, I make all the decisions. Okay, well, I appreciate that. Well, Jackie, I am looking at the tax records, and I see that it's you and Eric are on the tax records, right? So he's still a homeowner, correct? Yeah. So it's really and it's just really important. You bought this home together. I want you to sell it together. So it's really, really important that we all get together. If Tuesday at 4 doesn't work, what time will work for Eric? And pin her down. Well, he works late. Great. How late does he work? 7, 7:30? Fine. How about Sunday morning? I mean, don't go on if you have to, you have to. Okay. I have been on some situations like that and it did work out. But you're probably not going to get it.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to get it. They're not going to sign without their partner.
Right.
I've had that happen once where I actually got the guy to sign. And I pushed him recently. And his Spanish-speaking wife signed later. But get them both there together. Your odds go way up.
Exactly.
I know you're the decision maker, Jackie. I appreciate that. But you and Eric bought the home together. And I would just like to have you sell it together. And I think it's really important that he gets to hear what we talk about. So there's nothing left. You ever played the telephone game?
Yeah.
Right. We played telephone game as kids. I say this and right. By the time it gets to your significant other, there's going to be something lost in the translation. So is that okay?
Yeah.
So you want to have them together. Yeah. Okay. So I'd be happy to do that again, and you've got the script, so don't miss out on the pre-qual, right? As a practice, you could do a pre-qual, and then you could do the listing presentation, the next day.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, make it real. If you can do the listing presentation face-to-face, great. But it's okay. I've done thousands of them over the phone. So practice, okay? So enough about that. Any other questions? Okay, so and before
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried the trial close, pre-fill out the DocuSigns and say I'm going to send you just before our meeting, just so you know I'm going to send you over the paperwork to look at, and then in the email say please don't sign anything until we have a discussion about things. And
I've never done that. And again, I'm getting better with tech. I've not done that, but that is an approach that certainly I've heard before, and send over the whole listing contract. And then they sit down and go, oh, I got a problem with this contract. Okay, well, we'll get there, I
think it's an approach, and I think if you're comfortable with it, and I know that I know you've given it an attempt a couple of times, Gavin, and I know your style, you're comfortable with that. Personally, for me, I'm someone that more wants to get in there, have these pre-qual questions, bring the paperwork with me.
Me too.
But that's my style,
Yeah.
and there is nothing wrong about what your style is, as long as you practice your style, you're comfortable, and you try it. And if you find that it's not working, then kind of pivot from that and think about another strategy.
It's nice having the doc with you, but you're also stressed because you're waiting. You're checking your email every 5 minutes to see if they DocuSigned it after the meeting and they told you yes or probably yes type of thing. So I actually,
and I think Don's gonna, I know Don's gonna agree with me. We typically won't leave an appointment until we get the paper actually signed. So if I'm bringing papers with me, I'm not leaving until they're signed, which is why I like bringing paper copies with me on listing appointments.
Cool.
Because I don't want to leave and then say, here, I'm going to send you over the papers to sign. I physically want them signed in front of me. So now if you're comfortable pulling that back up on the computer and sitting with them as they DocuSign it in front of you, that could totally work for you too.
Yeah, if it works for you, great. I mean, I have known agents that, this is in the old days, they had a runner send out the listing contract or faxed, right? And I do know agents, when they walked in, they didn't even walk in. They opened the door and said, here you go. Here's the keys. It was no listing presentation. It's like, okay, great, thanks.
Fine, yeah.
That's not really happened with me. I will say though, at the end, I kind of invented that mortgage statement and keys.
Yeah.
A long time ago, and I noticed it filtered back into the coaching system, because if I walked in and I see Jackie's keys right there and the mortgage statement, hello.
It's like, unless I royally screw
Unless
up,
I really screw this up.
Mine.
This is mine, right? I mean, you really got to mess it up. So and sometimes they go, well, what do I need that for? Well, again, as you heard me, well, the mortgage statement is not for public knowledge. I just want to make sure we have a proper net. And I do want to have the loan number and the company and maybe an 800 number. And I'll just give that to the title company to expedite our closing when we do sell. Well, why do I need to leave the keys? Well, in case we're ready to go, I'm going to need a set of keys, And sometimes the people that push back on that, they get the keys out. I tell you this, if you don't ask for the keys, they won't be there.
Yeah.
But if you walk into that kitchen table and the keys are out, it's like, all right.
Okay.
They listened, right? I mean, they bought what I had to say.
Right.
So all I got to do is not screw this up.
Right.
So Gavin, if you're comfortable with the tech, go for it. And if you find out that people are rejecting you, then you pivot, shift. This is all about shifting. I mean, I've shifted a lot in my career, but I do like walking in and having a copy of the documents. I'm not tech savvy where they're pushing buttons. It's, have a copy. And on that presentation, even if he said he's the decision owner, when we sit at that kitchen table, I'll be sitting here, Jackie be sitting here, and our significant other be sitting here. Okay, not here. Okay, you don't want to be doing. So Jackie, blah 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 blah, and what's your
Mark.
Mark blah blah. Because while you're doing this, they're doing that, and you're losing, right? Whereas if I'm sitting here, I'm kind of going out of camera, safe distance, right?
Right.
But I'm talking to both of them.
Right.
And depending on the level of comfort, I'll mirror and match, her position. And there'll be times where, I wouldn't do it right now with her position, but if you were like out on the table and you're like looking at comps, I will reach out and go, so you see here, and I'll say, it'll be all right. Play with, as a guy, be careful, because, he might get, what are you doing? and her guns are bigger than mine, so what are you doing, right? But again, that's comfort. What does a doctor do, right? Right? I mean, so just.
And you've established a relationship with at least one of them already through that pre-qualification phone call, making it even more important.
Right.
Your level of comfortability.
So again, it's body, and I wouldn't give her a hug, and I certainly wouldn't do that like sitting right down. But you'll be able to tell, and some people you won't be able to, but you can even, it's okay. It's skills, and this is where you role play, and you get better. So, so getting to the appointment, yes. So let me just chat with that. If you leave when I leave without that listing sign,
All right.
I can tell you 90% of the time, I don't get it. I get the phone call. Hi, Don, we just want to let you know, we really liked your presentation, and we went with, because they were better than me. They got a signature. Right? Now, maybe I got out-commissioned, out-priced, out-advertised, out-bonded, out-whatever. But you got to, you got to give it a shot while you're there.
And it's going to happen to all of us.
Sure.
It does. I recommend too, when you call back and you find out maybe somebody else have gotten it, ask why.
Yeah.
Because most of the time they're going to be willing to tell you.
Yes.
And it could be something that you could maybe change in your presentation, or it could be something like commission where you're like, okay, well, that's fine. I have no problem losing a listing because somebody else chose to lower their commission 2%.
Hey, Jackie, what? I'm disappointed to hear that I wasn't chosen, obviously. In order to do a better job for future people, in order to improve myself, would you mind just telling me why you didn't select me?
Yeah, actually the other agent gave me, shared his marketing plan in a little bit more detail, and seemed like he was going to do a lot more to market my home.
So a lot more marketing. Okay, great. I'll make a note of that. And is there anything specifically I can do other than that to improve my chances of next time?
No, Don, you were great.
Okay, awesome. Well, I appreciate that information. I'm going to go back and look at our marketing presentation and make it better because of you. And just so you know, yes, I'm disappointed I didn't get the job, but you got a great house. I enjoyed meeting you and Mark. And if I can bring a buyer, hey, I can still get paid. I'll still bring you a buyer. Is that okay?
Oh, thank you so much. We'd appreciate that.
Yeah, this is about everybody winning. So, and on that note, if for some reason the agent that you who'd you choose?
Mr. Buyer.
Great, Mr. Buyer, great agent. Don't knock the agent or company. Say, okay, awesome. Gee, I don't know him, or oh yeah, I know him. If it doesn't work out, if something goes sideways or the home doesn't sell, please, if it's 3 months or 4 months or 6 months from now and the home hasn't sold, don't be shy. Call me back. I'd love to come back and be the second guy in. I'm okay with that. Okay.
Will do. Thank you.
All right, great. Why not? What do you got to lose?
Right.
And sometimes they'll say, well, we told you that we went with, Houses R Us for 4%. Okay, I appreciate that. And, we talked about that, and you're going to get what you paid for, and hopefully that will work out for you. If it doesn't work out, would you mind giving me a call?
Right.
And that's okay. It's like, I'm not doing it for 4%. Or, Don, we liked you, and you were pretty adamant that you weren't going to list it any more than 600,000, and well, so what'd you list it for? 675, and then
Like, okay.
good luck.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna sell.
Right. Right.
So outpriced, outcommissioned, outbonded, outliked, out-advertised, out, whatever. Try to learn from it though.
Exactly.
So, okay. So when you go on doing okay time-wise?
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay. So when you go on the listing presentation, and I've been guilty of it, I make one more phone call or send one more email, and then it's everybody else's fault that the light's not turning green, right? And you're driving crazy, get there. And the first words out of my mouth are, "Hi, Jackie. Sorry I'm late." And I've been guilty of that. It's not good.
No.
I still need to work on that. Don't be late. Most agents are late.
Yep.
Why'd you list with me?
I can't stand it.
Why did you list with me?
Yeah.
You're the only agent that showed up on time. I'm like, whoa.
Right.
I had that happen once. I'm like, be on time from now on.
I had
That's
literally I've had people say, "Oh, it's 9 o'clock. You're here."
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They're amazed.
That's our appointment, 9 o'clock.
They're amazed.
They're amazed. They are.
They're like, wow, everybody else showed up late.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm a professional. I like to show up on time.
Right.
I mean, you can.
Sounds small, but is big.
It adds up. And as they taught us in Bold, and I never did that. Mike Ferry used to tell us, show up 15 minutes early, be out in the driveway or park, and practice your presentation.
Yep.
Practice hey, you're early, come on in. He used to say, nope, I got to practice first. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but get there 15 minutes early. Drive the neighborhood. Look at a couple houses if you haven't already. Practice your presentation and be on that doorstep at
1 minute till or
3 minutes,
Yeah.
Whatever.
I wouldn't go on the doorstep 15 minutes before
No.
because they're scrambling a lot
Right.
of times.
It might be
They're
another
like,
agent
"Oh my
there."
gosh." Right. Or that. So
If you know there's another agent there, ding dong.
it's our time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got an appointment at 3 o'clock and it's 2:57. Are you ready? Well, we got the other agent here. Well, tell them to hurry up. And then as the agent,
Yeah.
they're not going to sign, right? They
Right.
pack it up and they go by you. You go, hi, did you get it? I'm just having fun, My turn. Anyway, so show up early, right? That'll set you apart. When you walk in, and again, I don't bring a laptop. Again, I'm not as tech savvy as you guys are. If you want to, bring laptops, do it. As long as it adds to your presentation. I bring comps, I bring a little bit of marketing, and I, bring my prequal, and I bring my script. So the first thing when we come in, again, setting the tone, because I've only spoken to Jackie, right? So let's just role play that for a second.
Sure.
So ding dong.
Hello.
Hi, Jackie. I'm Don Aldrich, Keller Williams. How are you?
Good. Hi, Don.
Great.
Great.
We had an appointment at 3 o'clock. It's 2:57. May I come in?
Absolutely.
Great. All right. Thank you. And, hey, Mark, how you doing? And he comes to the door, shakes my hand. Great. I'm excited about getting your home on the market and getting it sold. Do you mind if I just take a real quick look through the home?
Oh, okay. Do you want us to come with?
What I'd like to do first, if it's okay, I'd like to set my things down on the kitchen table. And then I'd like to just walk through the home by myself and see what kind of naturally catches my eye first impression, because that's what a buyer's going to do,
Okay.
if that's all right.
All right. That
And
makes
then
sense.
you
Sure.
can look at this information, and then when we're done, by all means, walk me through and I will take copious notes.
Okay.
Okay,
Great.
Great. If that's better, you're starting to establish control. Okay. Now there'll be times where that's not going to happen. No, let me show you around. Okay, that's going to add time to your appointment, but you can start asking questions, right?
Right.
Rather than, oh, you got a golf trophy, you're a golfer. Yeah, right. That it is going to happen, but perfectly try to set control. And then when you come into the kitchen, again, you want to sit here, avoid the across and get to the kitchen. Gary Keller says, how many kitchen tables can you be at? Right?
Exactly.
I've done it. I've taken listings on the back of couches and cars, and you do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Again, in a best situation, get to the kitchen. Dining room table is where they talk insurance and they talk to the mortician. right? Thanksgiving dinner. It's too formal. They're not going to take them into the kitchen.
Right.
Because that's where they're going to, this is where they talk.
The
What do you
gathering
want-
place.
What do you want to do this weekend? Hey, let me get you a beer. Get to the kitchen if you can. And if you have to clear the table, I've done it. Just, do you mind if I move that over here and move this here? And just kind of take gentle control and say, hey, Mark, how about you sit here and Jackie, you sit here. I mean, I've actually made them switch seats.
Nice.
Nicely, in a nice
Right.
way. Hey guys, it's just gonna be easier, if I can chat with you like this versus a tennis match. I got a crick in my neck, so make a joke of it.
Right.
Take control.
Love it. Yeah. And one thing they can look at, like Don said, you can look over this paperwork while I take a look around. Think about it. You're always going to go with your SPUDs, right? Your seller disclosure, because
Yeah.
that's going to be part of their homework. Hey, you know what? Why don't you take a look? This will save us
Great
some
idea.
time. At the end, feel free to look it over. And if you want, go ahead and start filling it out too. That way it'll save us all time.
I'm all about saving you guys time. So while I look at the house, how about, this is the seller property disclosure statement we call the SPUDs. It's your homework anyway. You're going to have to fill it out with somebody. You might as well start filling it out now. Why don't you just take a look at it? And they're going to be doing this. And I have come back, and they're already like on the third page.
Right.
Or in the listing, she's filling it out while, it's cool. That's very good. Give them something to do.
Yes.
That's better. So when you sit down, and again, the first thing I would say is Jackie and Mark, again, thanks for having me over. I'm excited about getting the home on the market, getting it sold. Now, Mark, I didn't get an opportunity to speak with you. Jackie and I had actually 2 great conversations, and she answered a lot of questions. Just to make sure we're all on the same page, I want to review the questions that we went over. Is that okay?
Yeah. That's
What are they going to say?
Right.
Of course. Yeah, because she said 575. I don't want 600.
Right.
Here's my chance, right? So then I'm going to, again, I've got a script now. Just before I begin, I mean, I do work from a script. Are you guys okay if I read from a set of questions?
Oh.
Is that all right?
Okay.
Yeah. They might say, well, another agent didn't. Really? It's interesting. Again, depends when you may not even get that, right?
Yeah.
They might say, yeah.
Do you usually say script, or do you say a checklist? Like I have a checklist of want to make sure I get all the information, or do you say I have a script?
I say a set of questions or script. I've never used the word checklist. Use what you want. Use what you want. And so, and again, I've had this, really small. I don't go into the whole notebook, right? just a sheet or 2 of paper, right, on really tiny boilerplate, if you will. So, Jackie and Mark, I do work from a set of questions. Are you okay if I just reference this? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to use, James, that you're comfortable using. And I say, because, when you go to the doctor, right, you meet with the nurse first, and you've been on a plane before, right?
Yep.
So what does the pilot do before we get on the plane?
They make an announcement.
And before the announcements, what have the pilots done?
Their check to make sure everything's running efficiently.
They walk around the plane, they check the flaps, the oil pressure, the tire pressure, right? In fact, I don't want to get on a plane where the pilot says, hey, let's just go for it. We think we're all right, right? This is too important, and this is your plane flight. I don't want to screw it up. So I'm just going to have this, okay? So I got 3 questions I'd like to ask you. The first one is, do you absolutely have to sell the home? And then you go right into the listing presentation. And guys, I've been in hundreds of seminars, and I have a dozen times there's been a rookie agent in the seminar, and he or she got this script. And so the next day, right? The next day, the Mike Ferry would say, hey, I've got it in front of 3,000 people. Say, where's Susie Smith? And Susie stands up, and Mike will say, Susie, tell them what you told me earlier. Can I tell them? And so, yeah. So Susie's been in real estate how long? Well, this is my first week. This is my first seminar. And what happened last night? She goes, well, I had my very first listing appointment. It was an $800,000 listing appointment. I was shaking in my boots. And what did you do? She goes, I used your script. What happened? They signed the contract. And all I did was read. I mean, here's somebody who doesn't know the script, went in and said, do you mind if I work from this? No, we don't mind. So let's quickly take a moment, review the question I asked for the phone. You said you're moving to San Diego, right?
Yeah.
And you said you're moving because you got a job transfer.
Yes, we did.
That's cool. And you had to be there by June 28th. Is that
Yeah,
right? Pretty soon.
Correct.
And you'd like to price your home at $575,000,
Right.
and you owe $100,000. Is that right?
Right.
You're not planning on selling it yourself, right?
Correct.
And you do want me to get all your cash out, right?
Yes.
Good. So there are only two issues we have to look at tonight. Number one is your motivation to sell this home. Number two is the price we set on your home.
Yeah.
So I prepared what we call a comparative market analysis. There's two parts to this research. Part one, we call it, see, they just read it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I would be going, now there are only two issues we have to look at tonight. Number one, your motivation to sell this home.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, the price we set on your home. But what I'm saying is somebody that doesn't have that experience can read from the script or a set of questions or a checklist, whatever makes you feel comfortable, James. And the sell, what do they know? They don't know.
Right.
They don't know that, oh, he's right.
Right.
And I guarantee you, if they're talking to other agents who are more experienced or skilled, and they didn't sign with them, and they didn't have a presentation, they're like, this gal knows what's going on here. I'm going to sign with her.
Yeah.
Sit down with an attorney. What does an attorney work with?
Right.
Set of questions.
Yep.
Checklists, right? A doctor. Who else? Financial planner.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean they would just wing the other
Yeah.
agents? The other agents didn't have a set of questions? Really, Jackie? Do you want to work with an agent they were winging it?
You know, they sounded like they knew what they were talking about.
Yeah, but they didn't have a set of questions?
No.
Interesting. Wow. Do you want to work with an agent that was winging it?
No.
Yeah, this is too important. I don't want to wing it. I don't want to miss a thing. So the next question is, so buyers determine value,
Yeah.
right? It's practice, guys.
Yep.
So, but at that very beginning, you do want to bring the person in that you didn't pre-qualify in on the conversation. Hey, Susie, I talked to John. We had a great conversation. I know you're really busy. I really appreciate you being here. I'm going to be as efficient and quick as I can. I'll stay as long as you guys have questions. We didn't get a chance to talk, but John and I had a great conversation. He answered a bunch of questions for me. Are you okay if we just kind of go over those now? Because I just want to make sure we're on the same page, same team, same playbook. You okay with that? What are they going to say? Right? Oh, yeah. Versus another agent is coming in. So tell me why you're moving.
Right.
Oh, I love San Diego. And that driver over there is going, oh, my
Yeah.
God, how quickly can I get this person out of my house?
100%.
Right? Versus,
Yep.
hey, I appreciate your time. I know you're going to San Diego. You got to be there by December. You got a job transfer. Good for you. Price is $575. Well, what's my house worth? We'll go over that in a minute. I just want to, you owe $100,000. You got a copy of the mortgage statement. Okay. You don't have a set of keys out, but I can get those later. That's okay. Take control, because a driver is going to appreciate you taking control.
Remember, they have you there. They're interviewing you to hire you for the job. They wouldn't have asked you there
Right.
if they weren't interested in selling and selling with you. So get that in your head, right? Go in with that confidence of, I earned this appointment and now
Yeah.
I deserve to win it and to land it.
Right. You deserve the Oscar.
Yeah.
Right. And you're there right now, right? Out of 55,000 agents in the Valley, you're one of 3. So act like they're nominating you for the Oscar, right? Right? Do rookie actors ever win an Oscar?
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah, right? Okay, so that's
Right.
what you got to bring, and know that well, why didn't you? We've had 3 other agents, and why didn't you list with any of them? Oh,
Right.
whatever. I see. Well, I'm the 4th agent you've talked to. You really don't want to go through this again, do you?
No, they just wouldn't list it where we wanted them to.
I understand, and you understand. I'm not going to either, right? Because it's not going to sell. You understand. We all work from the same set of comps, right? And I know you don't like the $550 price, but you can clearly see not a home in the neighborhood is sold for $550. So Jackie and Mark, unlike the other agents, can I? You asked me a couple minutes ago, what do you do differently? Can I answer that?
Please.
Okay. So what I do differently is, they were here and they were the only agent in the room, and they left without getting you to sign a contract, okay? I want to get your signature. Can I tell you why?
Yeah.
Because those are the kind of agents, when they bring a buyer into your home, they're going to walk around the house, okay? And then they are going to leave without ever asking the buyer to sign a contract. They already demonstrated that.
Yeah.
They left here, a very motivated seller with a beautiful home, and they left here without a signed contract. Can I share with you the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a salesperson. You need to sell this home. You want to work with a professional salesperson, right?
Right.
Don't you want me to have that same type of attitude when I'm showing a home to a buyer? I'm going to say, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, do you like the home? Yeah, I want to think about it. Let's not think about it. Let's buy it. There's the contract. Go ahead and sign. Wouldn't you rather work with somebody who's not afraid to ask for signatures?
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah, I do. So I'm not afraid to ask for your signature. So do you think I can sell your home?
I do.
Great. Go ahead and prove it. Sign right there.
Do you think we could start a little higher and then lower it?
Yep, because we've had that discussion, right? You can
Yep.
see that the 550 is probably reality.
Okay.
You know 600 mark is fantasy land, right? We're never going to sell.
Mhm.
Where would you like to start?
Okay.
What price would you like to start?
570?
570, okay. So I'm going to put down 570.
Okay.
And you understand right now the 570 is a bit aggressive, right?
Right.
You understand that's kind of your price right now. So if 2 or 3 weeks go by and it's still your house, your price, no one's willing to buy it, then I'm going to put a little clause in here. Would you then consider going to the market price of 550?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to put in here, we're going to list the home at $570,000, right?
Yep.
And then in 3 weeks, because we're going to know in 3 weeks
Right.
what the activity's been, right?
Yep.
And you got to go, right?
Right.
Let's take a gamble. We'll throw a Hail Mary for 3 weeks. And hey, if we get 570,000, you, absolutely. We're all happy about that.
Right.
But I want to know that we've had that discussion, unlike maybe some of the other agents that were here prior to me and didn't have the guts or the knowledge or the skill set to present it to you. That's the market. You know, that's the disease. Here's the cure,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we're going to go 570 to start, $570,000 to start. And then in 3 weeks, June 12th, I'm going to push it down to 550. You okay with that?
Yeah.
That
That
way
sounds fair.
That way we went for your price.
Yeah.
And if we don't get it, then we're going to go for the market price.
Can't argue with that.
Great. Go ahead and sign it. You got the power. Yeah. The pen is mightier than the sword. Go ahead and sign it. I mean, you can have all kinds of fun stuff, you know. And do you think I can sell them? Yeah, great. Well, go ahead and prove it. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, they'll usually laugh.
Right.
You know, well, the other agents didn't ask me, right? And those are the agents that left here without a signed contract, right?
Love that.
I'm here to help you sell. I
Yeah.
can't sell it if you don't sign it. Have fun with it. The other key, I don't know if you caught it. You said 570. What did I say?
550.
Well, what did I say when I repeated your 570?
Oh gosh, Don. Tell me again.
I said $570,000.
Yes.
I wanted it to sound like, so you want 500, even if you're doing this. Okay, so you want $570,000. Right?
Yeah.
On the prequal, I did that.
I did notice it.
On the
I'm like,
prequal,
why is
I
this hanging
said,
that way?
whatever
Right.
she said, I
Yeah.
said, so you want
It's 500,000.
you want $500,000, okay? The price it's probably going to sell at is more like 550.
Nice.
See the again,
Settle. Yeah.
right? Their price is always, wow, okay, so you want $875,000, okay? Looks like the market's more like 825. What do you want to do?
I like it.
Just little twist, okay? But again, you can have fun with it, and if you've got a script, it just gives you more leverage. Have fun with it. Somebody might say, well, we're interviewing. You're right. We're interviewing you, and I can say, you're right, and I'm interviewing you. Because remember, the third question I asked you, and we didn't do this today. So I'll do the first three questions.
Okay.
So Mark and Jackie, so thanks for giving me permission to use this. So I always start with 3 questions. I'm going to ask them now. So number 1, I think I know the answers, but I'm going to ask. So number 1, do you guys absolutely have to sell this home?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to mark a big yes down next to that one. And then question number 2 is, will you price your home to sell, or do you want it to sit on the market for a long period of time?
No, we want to get out of here. We want it to sell.
So you want to get out of here. Okay, so I'm going to say price to sell. And number 3, do you want me to handle the sale for you? Say, you don't know yet.
Yeah, we're not sure.
Okay.
Need to hear a little more first.
Okay, that's okay. You know what? Most of my sellers say the same thing before they sign. So you guys are right on track with everybody else. Don't worry about that. Because really, at the end of this presentation, one of 3 things will happen. Number 1, you have the opportunity to list your home with me. Number 2, you'll decide not to list your home with me. And number 3, I'll decide not to take your listing.
Why? Oh, why would you decide not to take our listing?
Well, if you guys insist on a price that I know the market's not going to give you, I don't want to waste your time or mine. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, if you guys want $700,000 for this home, and I know it's worth $450,000, I mean, I like you, I like the house, but I'm going to turn you down.
Okay.
That's usually why I turn people down, is pricing.
Okay.
Sometimes it's personality. Sometimes I don't sense that here. Do you?
No.
No, I don't either. Good. Well, let's keep it that way. All right. So if we can't agree on price, then I'm just going to say, great, thank you. Good luck to you. I hope it works.
All right.
But we'll get to that point.
Okay.
So this is a co-interview, and it is.
Yep.
You're interviewing them. If they're knuckleheads, do you really want them? If the house smells like dog pee, do you want it? If it's priced right, yes. And Eric, if you can get into that house and your eyes don't water, I've gone out of houses where the people chain smoked in front of me. This is years ago. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get cancer. I had to go home and throw away my clothes. But I took the listing and it sold, right? A coach a long time ago said, Don, the rats can be eating the cockroaches. If the home is priced right, it'll sell.
Yeah, well.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay. And Denny Grimes said recently, see, I'm throwing you stuff from coaches from 28 years ago, 35 years ago, and I'm throwing you stuff that I'm learning at Keller Williams. Denny Grimes made a great comment a couple weeks ago. He said, you can't reduce the price of a listing that you don't own, that you don't have.
Right.
And I went,
Right.
I mean, I know that, but it was just,
Hearing it.
Now,
Hearing
it
it in a
doesn't
different
mean
way.
go out and take a bunch of overpriced listings, because you're setting yourself up for, and we've all taken overpriced listings. But in a market like this, if she's got to go, like Denny says, if they're motivated enough, they will change the price.
Right.
Even if you don't get it up front. It's better, James, like you, or Gavin, you told about the paperwork ahead of time. Having it with you, you can change things like, you know what? Okay, if I bring you a buyer, I'll do it for 5%. Other than that, is there anything else standing in the way? Nope. Okay, great. Sign the contract. So we're going to go at $570,000, and on June 10th we're going to go to $550,000. And if I bring a buyer, I've got to do it for 4.5%. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, and you understand the chance. I mean, I'd be happy to do it. The chances are somebody's going to beat me to it. 97% of the homes out there sell because of another agent.
Okay.
But if I can bring you a buyer, hey, great.
Okay.
I'll do it for 4.5%.
You're still going to try to get me a buyer, though.
Heck yeah, I'm going to sit it open this weekend.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's great.
Just like you're going to sign this contract, I'm going to ask them to sign that contract.
All right.
And I said I'll do it for 4.5%. It's a business decision, If I can get $1 million, will you pay me $6 million?
Yes.
Okay, great. Go ahead and sign. I'm not going to write that down, but go ahead and sign the contract. Again, you practice in losing, and you will. Don't lose the lesson.
Yeah. I heard so many great things there, and just the fact that Don has taken information and is still learning, right?
Okay,
and
yeah.
getting just like little nuggets of information. That's why what we're doing right now, that script role play, the conversations that we're having, that's why we do it. That's why we do the objection handlers and script practice and ignite. That's why it's one of Gary's 5 big things for you to time block in your daily schedule is script and role play practice, because then you sound smooth and you hear a variety of different people and you practice a variety of objections and working with different personality people also.
Mm-hmm.
That's really helpful. So a lot of great information there.
I on the way here, I role played over the phone. with a gentleman that's got a heavy Indian accent.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to understand. So I still role play, not quite 5 days a week, 3 to 4 days a week. I need to add an extra day right now. I'm in between a partner. The point is I still do it because you sharpen the sword. I'm not that good. I don't get every listing. They're not lay downs. They don't all say, yeah, I'm going to list with you. That does happen. Be prepared for it, but it also doesn't happen. And you got to be prepped for that. So when you're role playing, you guys, set it up with each other. Maybe if there's 5 of you, work with a woman on Monday, work with a guy on Tuesday, work with maybe somebody that's got an accent on Wednesday, work with a fast talker, somebody that talks a little faster than you, and work with a southern drawl on Friday, and it's all good. You practice, right?
Right.
You play at the level you practice. So if she was a really slow, it's painful for me to do that, but I'm going to slow my speech down.
Yeah.
Right? And if there's a little Canadian accent in there, they won't catch you, And if it's a New Yorker, you can, all right, so you're moving back to New York, yeah? I mean, you can play with dialects and it's fun. Practice with each other,
Yeah.
And if they're really, because if they're talking fast and you're a slow talker, what are they going to think?
They're going to not think you're very intelligent.
They're going to think you're stupid. That's right. And if you're talking really fast and they're slow talkers, what are you thinking about me?
Right. I think you're trying to pull one over me.
City slicker, right? You talk like they talk, walk like they walk, sit like they sit, right? Because then eventually she's saying, he's a member of my tribe.
Right.
I can trust this guy. He talks like me. He walks like me. She's nodding her head like me. Right.
If you were watching, we definitely were, right? He was doing that through his conversation and I was going with him. And
they want to be in rapport.
Right.
They're not going to sit there, right?
Right.
So, mirrored. Now, if somebody crosses their arms, don't immediately do it. If they sit back and, 30 seconds later, you sit back and do that. Mimic. They lean forward, you lean forward. Practice on your spouse, practice with your kids. It's body language,
For sure.
Don't practice on them, practice with each other.
I love it. I think I have one last question. I know you've got a lot of stuff going on to lead gen and get back to it, but Don, in addition to bringing kind of like your questions, your script with you, what else do you bring with, for maybe someone that's never been on a listing presentation and they're thinking, what do I bring with me? We talked paperwork and kind of how that's your preference and your style. What else do you bring with you?
So you bring the comps, bring a hard set of comps. Even if I've emailed you the comps. Well, I got those comps. I didn't like those. Well, okay, let's go over them. And bring some knowledge. I don't know every neighborhood. You're going to be better especially if you've got time, go preview the houses that are for sale in the neighborhood. Drive by the ones that went pending. Maybe even see if you can still get into the ones that are pending, under contract. Hey, I just want to preview it for a potential backup buyer. They'll let you in, right? Or at least look at the pictures. The worst thing is to be on an appointment and they say, well, what about that house on 123 Cherry Street? And you go, it's not good when they know more than you know. So go with the knowledge that, hey, all right, maybe I've only been in the business a year, but I know more about real estate than you do. You would never say that, but that's how you have to feel. I'm the expert here. Even if I'm brand new in real estate, I've studied the comps more than you have. You got to know that neighborhood better than they do.
Absolutely.
I bring some basic marketing plans. I don't bring a whole lot. Early in my career, I brought like flip charts. This is going back, 35 years. Flip charts, right?
Yep.
I didn't bring one in. At KCN, we have it's a flip chart. I mean, it's a really nice one.
Yeah.
I still have that with me because I'm still fairly new with KCN, and I use that as well. There's a great picture there. Do you want to sell your house with a farmer or with an army? And so it shows a farmer like plowing, one person, and then it shows a machine, a reaper. I don't know what those are called. a thresher.
Sounded good.
Whatever. A farm machine that's going like this, overhead view, and he's like plowing like a huge area. You know, do you, again, or do you want to hire, you know, why should I hire you? Well, do you want to hire somebody that's, you know, baiting the hook one at a time? Or do you want to hire somebody like me, like takes a net, right? We're going to bring more buyers in. If you price it right, when you price it right, we have a net. When you price it here, it's a Hail Mary. How often do Hail Marys work out in the NFL? Okay.
Not enough.
I'd rather go with a ground game, a game plan that's going to grind us into the end zone 4 or 5 times in a game. And that's by pricing. It's your choice. What do you want? So if you want, we have plenty of stuff at KW to bring. So
Yep.
bring it. Bring it. Bring somebody else.
Yeah.
Bring
Hey,
somebody
Dom,
else.
what do you throw out as your marketing presentation as part of your overall package? What do you kind of include in that when you talk marketing?
That's James, right?
That's James.
If you go with me on a listing presentation, I really don't discuss marketing. Do you want to know why?
Sure.
Because I've gotten fairly polished at talking in comps. They don't need to see anything else. It's like, that's the price. Here's me. What do you want to do? Right? I would never say that,
Right.
but that's, I don't need it at this point. You
So
guys.
what if someone were to ask you in the presentation, if they push back, I like everything you're saying, but how are you going to get my helm out to other
Then
people?
I would bring out the KCN folder, and I'd say, you know, we've got a call center. There's 555,000 calls being made a day. Here's all goes out to the internet. We're going to do open houses. I'm going to do a slide dial. Do you know what slide dial is?
No,
Let me tell you what slide dial is. We're going to do open houses, but instead of we're going to do a 7th level open house. Has anybody discussed what a 7th level open house is?
I've never heard it.
Okay, right. Those are the agents that were here before me. You know what kind of open houses they do? They decide on Saturday morning, well, I guess I'll go hold 123 Cherry Street open, and they go out and they put a couple of signs out in a balloon and they sit it, right? We're going to market it for 7 days prior to that to the public over the internet. I'm going to circle dial around the neighborhood, call all your neighbors. We're going to mail, do postcards. We're going to door knock, right, James? And tell people about it. And by the time Sunday comes around, we've already been pushing your home for 7 days. So we may have way more people in than just somebody that sets out signs on a day.
Yeah.
Does that kind
I
of
think,
different
like-
from what another agent? Okay. So you may want to have a checklist.
Or like a 1-pager or 2-pager
Yeah.
with you. And I think that's why like we have that role, like that Michael Lewis one or the example
Yes.
of mine in there. There's something there as like their reference. But usually when you're on the presentation, it goes much more like the conversation and the comps.
Right.
And then, you know, even after they sign, okay, here's how we're following up.
Right.
That sheet with the marketing page. Command has a couple of good ones that we've brought into the listing presentation folder too. So he's saying he has, what I'm hearing you say is you have something
I got
there,
it. Yeah, it's here.
but it's not the main
It's not.
highlight of yours
Right.
because you've done this so many times, so to speak.
But it was
That-
back in 1986. I mean, my listing presentation was probably 3 hours long because that's the way it was back then. People didn't have the internet. We had to go through flip charts and, you know, God, I can't believe I did, you know, how painful for the seller to sit there for 3 hours. And now with the email and the technology, I mean, you can send them the comps and it's like, yeah, I've seen the comps. I'm good with it. You know, I'm good with the 425 or, and sometimes they just ask, they gotta, James, they think they just gotta ask something, you know, so what's your commission? It's 6%. Any other questions before you sign? No, I just thought I'd ask. Okay, great. Stop.
Yeah.
Or what's your marketing plan? Well, let's talk about that. So other than that, again, this is what I've learned from Denny. And, you know, I mean, not that I haven't heard it before, but now I'm finally using. So other than that, Jackie, is there anything else if you agree with me on the marketing plan, other than that, is there anything else to keep you from signing tonight?
No.
And she said no. So now it's like we go with the marketing plan. Does that sound good?
Yeah, looks good. Okay.
So I can sell the
That's
home?
what's missing. Yeah.
And now I say, well, sign it. Well, wait a minute. You just told me what else, you know,
Right.
other than that. Well, marketing plan. Well, commission. Okay. Marketing plan, commission. Other than that. Well, my next door neighbor's a realtor. Okay. Other than that. I mean, this is what you want to try to get out ahead of time. And I'll tell you, when they give you objections in the pre-qual, don't answer them, note them. And sometimes you go, oh my God, there's 4 of them. And you know what? You go in and you answer the commission one, and they don't even get to the other three. They just feel that they may have to say something,
Right.
you know? So, so yes, have a checklist. And then on that checklist, don't just hand it to them. They asked you, so draw it out. Say, okay, well, first we're going to do, as I just said, well, first we're going to slide out. Everybody, do you know what slide out is? Tell them what slide out is. The other agent told you about slide out, didn't they? They didn't? Oh, huh. Number two, we're going to door knock. We're going to take a brochure out and tell all your neighbors. Why would you tell my neighbors? They know it's for sale. Maybe, maybe not. But I can guarantee you, do you ever drive the street north of you? Do you?
Oh, drive it, yeah. You
Okay.
drive it, sure.
Well, when you come home, do you come by that?
No.
Okay. What do you think your neighbors do? They drive right to their house, right?
Mhm.
There might be somebody next street over or next street behind you. They may be a buyer. They may be renting and they want to live here. They may know a friend that wants to live here. We're going to go, right, James? We're going to go. We're going to canvass the whole area.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about it. That's number two. Number three is,
Yeah.
do I need to keep going or do you think I'm the agent for the
All
job?
right. Sounds like you know what you're talking
Good.
about.
Once you sign this marketing, you know what? I'm going to sign this marketing plan. Okay. And you keep it.
Okay.
And you feel free to call me. Have you done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? And we'll just have that communication.
Sounds fair.
If you will sign that contract with me tonight, you can call me anytime you want on that. Okay.
All right.
Great. Put me to work.
Right.
Practice.
Yep.
Take somebody with you. Eric, take James, go with Eric. Take a brand new agent. They don't know.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you, most people don't show up with more than one agent. We have Jackie. This is Agni. He's my showing agent. It just even if you don't have a team,
Right.
you know, Eric will say it's you, Eric, or Thomas. Hey, this is Thomas. Thomas and I work together. And he thought he'd just come along to check out your house and maybe he's got a buyer for you. We work together. You know, what are you saying?
Don, do you ever think about bringing like somebody from like the mortgage company or something to say, hey, let's talk about what you're going to net out of this when we close and how you're going to wind up, based on this price? It's not.
I'll bet your lender would go with you. They would. I've never done that.
Well, especially on the seller, right? They're not so interested in it unless they're buying a new place.
Right.
Yeah.
Buyer, sometimes I've had a lender, be here at the initial buyer consultation, but they've usually talked to a buyer before they come in to sit down with me.
Right.
They've talked to my lender already.
Right.
But if they want them there in person, fine. Sometimes my lender has come and sat in open house with me. You could do that, but experiment. Bring somebody with you. It's kind of, they go, whoa. And I experienced that being on a team and training some new people. I mean, if any of you guys want to go with me, let me know. You can come with me. Even though we are on the same team. We're at Keller Williams, right? We are on the same team. Bring somebody, because you can practice on the way there with them. Okay, Jackie, I want to let you role play on the way there, and then she can tell you, when you leave. And maybe she brings something in on the conversation that helps you get it.
Right.
You don't have to talk a whole lot. It's not your listing.
Right.
Bring somebody with you. I have found that I brought rookies, brand new guys and gals on a listing presentation, and they don't say a thing except, right? Yeah. And the seller's like, wow, he's got a team. They don't know they're brand new. Bring it for confidence.
Exactly.
Bring somebody with you. You want to bring something, bring somebody. Maybe have them bring a laptop. I've had that happen where I was on an expensive listing presentation and they were saying something and Julie, can you bring that up? And I couldn't have done it. I don't have the skill set. And she brought it on and said, yeah, that's that house. And she helped me get the listing.
Nice.
And I paid her like $500 when it closed, right? Because it was 2 hours of her time and she helped me get the listing.
Right.
It wasn't her listing, but she helped me.
Exactly.
Work out something.
Win-win. Yeah.
Hey, James, you want to come with me? I get the listing, I'll give you $100, I'll pay you for your time.
Well, why'd you pay the other girl $5? Why am I getting $100? What happened?
Because it's you, James. Women get higher.
Easy.
Oh, I love it. Well, let's share out at least three of you guys jump in and share a takeaway from Don today.
Don't all
I
speak at
can't
once.
get more of them to show up.
Well, I got 2 pages of notes from you as usual, Don. So it was great. I like your 7-level open house. I thought that was fantastic to be able to like include in the marketing side of it what you do that's better and different, and just your overall pattern and questions. I've got to like go through and clean all these up, but it was great. Trying to write as fast as you talk.
Well, it's recorded, so that's good news for all of you. You can
That's
go
true.
back and
Play it back slowly. That's good.
Great. Couple more.
Oh, I'm just glad it's recorded because I missed part of it. So thank you so much, Dawn. You're always amazing. You teach us so much. I love how quick and fluid he is. It's just, I love it. Thank you.
Who's that?
That was Victoria.
Victoria. Thank you, Victoria. I recognize the voice.
One more.
Well, Don always has great ideas and great scripts. It's nice to hear them. You think, I can do that too.
You
You
can.
Can.
I'm not a Hollywood actor, you know. Neither are you. But
You're-
just
Yeah, but you have an Oscar.
I have a picture of one. It's not mine.
Close enough.
Not mine. So yeah, you can, and it doesn't have to take you 35 years. You know, Eric, you'll be so much better in 6 months. You'll blow away the Eric that you are right now.
Yep.
You'll see it. You'll be so much better a year from now. And then of course, the whole thing is, you know, let's say you go on 10 appointments and you get 2, which is about the National Association of Realtors stats. Okay. But let's say you put the time into practice, all right, and you're just going to talk to people and you get beat up and you lose and you learn and you practice and you role play. And then 6 months later, you go on another 10. Doesn't take any more time, does it? Right? 10 appointments is 10 appointments, but now you get 4.
Yep.
Yep.
2 years later, you get 6 or 7 out of that 10. Hello?
And I'd rather go on 10 and
God.
get 2 than go on 0.
Yes.
Right? Because I'm here.
Yeah, I'll go on 10 and get 2 rather than 0. But if I go on 10 and get 2, I'm going to get killed by my coach, and I'm going to beat myself up.
Well,
But in that situation, I've known agents that have gone on like 40 in a month and gotten 10. Okay, and then the coach worked with them, and they only went on 15, and they got 11.
right. And then that's that refining. Okay, hold on.
You
I'm
got
going
your-
on 10. I'm only getting 2. Where's the disconnect? What do I need to refine?
That agent got his life back.
Yeah.
He was able to go and play with his kids because he wasn't wasting 25 appointments on maybes. He got really focused on, hey, if you're going to be my seller, here's the minimum expectation that I'm going to work with. They got to move, So I'd rather go on 15 and take 11 than go on 30 and take 10, or go on 30 and take 12.
Right.
I'll take 15, 11 every month. Are you kidding?
Right.
So will any of you come on a presentation with me?
Oh, you had
I will.
volunteers in the chat box?
Put your hands
I
up.
will.
Okay. All right. You want to get me?
What's your email address? Would that be the easiest?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, I'm putting his email address
It's a
in the
really-
chat box.
I'll
It's a
text
really
you
hard
right now, Dawn.
It's a really hard one. It's donaldrich@kw.com.
All right, in the box.
So
Okay.
send it to me. And the thing with that is then I got to do this, and it puts pressure on me to be good, right? She's easy to work with.
Yeah. Well, and we were also making sure you guys could hear everything too.
Right. So that it makes me better if somebody's coming with me, and it does enhance my chances of getting that
Yeah.
listing too.
Yeah.
So I'm okay if, to have one of you guys come in. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you. As always, you
Awesome.
exceed our expectations every time. So
Yeah.
thank you.
You guys are in great hands.
Thank you.
And as you learn these scripts, collect them. Keep them in a 3-ring binder, right?
Yep.
These are collected over the years. If you like something when you're role playing with your buddy, write it down, put it in a book,
Right.
and you always got it.
Right.
I sent
Thank
you a text message, Dawn.
Hope that wasn't safe.
Thank you.
Should we?
Thank
For something,
you.
I think those are safe.
Used to be blood brothers. Now we can't even, right?
Thank you
All
so
right, guys.
much.
You're in good hands with her.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
All
Better,
right.
better than Allstate. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Don.
Yep.
All right, you guys. Well, I thought I'd take the next 10 minutes here before we roll into the weekend just to, sorry, I was looking down at the computer again. I gotta get back. Just before we get into the weekend, I wanted to go over some business to business ideas with you guys. And then before I jumped into that, I wanted to remind you, yes, we're going into a long weekend, right? Memorial Day weekend. And I want you to think about this as so many opportunities for you. There are a lot of people that have been working during, what we're going through right now that are now going to have a couple of days off, opportunity to show homes, right? To work with people. This is one of the easiest days, I think, to lead generate. Hey, how are you? What are your plans for the Memorial Day weekend? What's going on? Like, it's like the easiest lead-in question. What are you doing on this long weekend? They're going to respond to that, right? Hey, happy Memorial Day. It's Jackie from Keller Williams Arizona Realty. Just wondering what you're up to this weekend. Or if you have a buyer in the pipeline, right? Hey, I know looks like you might have an extra day off this weekend. I'd love to take you out, show you some homes that have come on market. It's one of the easiest days of times around holidays to lead gen, in my opinion. And then follow up on follow up on Tuesday, right? With the people that you didn't hit today. Hey, how was your weekend? What'd you do? Anything fun? Did you get outside with the family? So on and so on. So think about this as an opportunity. One of our jobs, right, to be better than the rest is to sometimes that Monday where all the other agents are taking off, you're offering to show homes or to be there for somebody. So use this as a really big opportunity for you guys. Okay, let me pull up. Let me see if this will work. I just need to get out of this presentation. So I will, I just kind of took notes to keep me on track of things that I wanted to share with you guys about some business to business ideas. It's not in a formalized SMART plan yet because I feel like there's kind of options. So I wanted to bring this to your attention because we were talking about, okay, how can we set up business to business? How do you work on that? How do you set up a SMART plan? How do you stay in touch with them? So just really, we had this conversation briefly yesterday when I was cutting in and out. Just having that conversation, first of all, think about the area, right, that you want to be an expert in. So if you're farming an area or you have that certain, we've been talking about this a lot, area that you're doing open houses in, think about that area first and use that to be, okay, now in this area, I want to look for small businesses to promote and small businesses to share, or I want to find vendors that serve this area. So you kind of have to know that up front. Or maybe you're someone that prefers to take like a greater area, like the greater Phoenix area or the greater Scottsdale area. That's something that you want to make sure that you're deciding on first. Then really what I wanted to point out is anybody and everybody. It doesn't just have to be real estate. It doesn't have to be like a painter or roofer, an HVAC. Like I'll just be flat out honest with you. I moved from Chicago, right? I didn't, whatever it's going to sound like it's going to sound. I didn't have a nail salon. I didn't have a hairdresser. I didn't have a gym. I didn't have any of that stuff that's outside of real estate. That's something that are things that I love and things that I treat myself to or things that are healthy. I didn't have a doctor. I don't have a dentist. I still don't have an eye doctor. I still don't have a dentist, right? So what do I do coming here? I mean, I'm getting referrals from people in our office, but what can you do, right? There's so many people that move here. Like, why not offer those other things? Why not have that as like, a side list in your buyer's presentation or, in my opinion, kind of like a monthly newsletter, someone you're going to highlight. So when we talk about, bringing that up, like a SMART plan, some ideas you can kind of see on the screen. The first step would be, okay, you want to contact your business. You want to pick a business, you want to reach out to them and kind of go back to, hey, if you were to read a 5-star review on Yelp, what would you like to read? Right? What would you like to see? And I apologize, even backing it up before then, right? Like, hi, I'm Jackie with Keller Williams Arizona Realty. I was just calling. I work with a lot of people moving into the area, and I would love for you to be the local barbershop, roofer, inspector that I share information with them about. If you already have, like for me, when I was back home, I started with people that I already had connections with. I went to the Mexican restaurant once a week in downtown Naperville. So I knew, I went, hey, like, I love it here so much. You know, I would love to feature you on my social media once a week on my Thursday small business. I'd love to feature you. Is that okay? Can I take a picture of the restaurant? Can we take a picture together? Can I tag you on Facebook? What specials do you have coming up this week, this month? Is that okay? And most of the time, right, they're going to say yes. And then many times, right, they're going to say, well, what can I do for you? And I say, you know what, honestly, I'm not really looking for much. I know that we're all in the same boat, right? We're business owners. I know how hard work it takes and the dedication it takes to run a successful business. Honestly, all I need from you is if there's someone, you happen to hear of somebody looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest in real estate, that you just pass along my information and let me know. Is it okay if I leave a stack of business cards with you? Great. Right? And then you're developing this plan. So you're thinking, I'm going to contact business to business. I'm going to call them, or I'm going to go visit. I love doing it all in person. And I know obviously right now that's going to kind of depend where we're at. But after that initial visit or conversation, it's an immediate social media post so they can see you're taking action right away. Send them a thank you card in the mail. You're going to commit to posting a social media post one time a month. Then there's a lot of different ways you can feature them. You could feature them in your buyer's packet so they're always there, right? You can feature them if you decide to do like a monthly email blast to people in your database. You can highlight somebody new, or you can just have your list there and you can just ask them like, hey, update me if you have any specials coming up, and I'll make sure to highlight that in the monthly newsletter. Make sure then that you're bringing it to them, that you're delivering it in person or via email. You just include them on that monthly list as well. Maybe you're asking them to come sit with you at an open house, or hey, can I include your business name, and it's Taco Tuesday for $3 every Tuesday. Can I include that on my door hanger, on the back of my door hanger? I'm going to knock doors in the neighborhood. So it's about building those connections and then following through. And it depends how many business-to-business people you have. So are you kind of thinking about your farm, right? How many farms can you manage? How many businesses can you manage? How many businesses can you manage to make sure that you're highlighting them at least once a month in some way, somehow? How are you making sure that you're tagging them on your social media? Can you visit them once a month in person? Or do you have so many business-to-business that you're going to visit them quarterly? Seeing you in person, letting them see you and have that interaction makes it even stronger, a stronger connection, right? Oh, I'm going to drop off business cards, or hey, I was finished knocking the neighborhood, coming in for some tacos. Hey, take a look. Here's what the door hangers turned out like, right? So really thinking about it in that way. It doesn't have to be like these social media posts. They don't have to be grandiose and perfect video or anything like that. I've got a few minutes of, I want to show you one. I don't know if Jennifer's on this. Is Jennifer on here? I can only see 4 of you at a time. I don't think she's going to have a problem with me sharing this because she shared it on her social media. If any of you guys followed Jennifer Janier in the PC program with Keller Williams, she is doing a small business plan right now. And she just started it, and once a week, she's focusing, trying to do 2 things at once. That's not working out for me. She's focusing on highlighting a different small business every week. So I want to show you what she posted. We won't watch the whole thing, but I just want you to see this. And she doesn't have a professional videographer coming with her. It is something that she's interested in, so she takes time to edit it and really kind of get into it. So yes, it looks nice and polished, but this is something that she's committed to doing once a week and really getting her closer with her business community. Okay, this is her business Facebook page, and then she's sharing. So there it is. Let me find the actual, here, she posted yesterday. So she featured this Cafetel coffee. She tells their name, she tagged them in it, And she is calling this her, this is her theme, and her I Am project, to talk about building community and reaching out to the small businesses in the community. And I don't know if I can get the sound to play, but you guys are more than welcome. I actually shared it on my Facebook page yesterday too. But she goes through the whole video where there's interview, and she put that together, something that she's passionate about. Again, it doesn't have to be a video or something as like smoothly transitioned and as artistic. It could literally be a picture. Mine were just pictures. Or it could be a little Facebook Live interview. You know, people love the Facebook Live stuff, so it doesn't always have to be a recording, but this is kind of someone that's really putting in the work to the small businesses, and she's working on developing her plan now. Okay, how am I going to make sure that I'm always following up with them while building next week and adding another person or another business in the community to her program. So if you have time, this is a good one she's a good one to kind of go back and get some ideas from. What, maybe you guys are doing some business to business stuff that you'd like to share, or do you guys have any questions or comments about the business to business?
Hey, Jackie, how many different like title companies and things do you go for, and mortgage? I know we have Keller Williams, but do you reach out to several different ones, or do you kind of stay with the core group that we have?
That's a great question. So typically, like, I had 3 when I would share, because I don't want to share so many that I'm working with 10 different lenders and I don't understand their processes. So it was always important to me that whomever I put on there, I knew I was going to have a good business interaction and transaction with, in terms of like mortgage, title, in our case, attorneys. I will tell you, one of the classic mistakes I made when I first started was, I think somebody said it on Ignite yesterday, you are going to get hundreds of calls from lenders, from title companies. And I was the person that was like, I thought I was being mean if I said, no, I don't want to meet with you. And I said, yes, I'll meet with you. I'll meet with you. I'll meet with you. I finally had to say, hold on a second. I've got my people. I know who I trust. I've made a connection with them. I don't need to keep meeting with these people. Those of us reading the one thing know successful people say no more than they say yes, right? So I think to that point, James, once you find like your core, typically in real estate school, they tell us 3, right? You want to give 3. So I would find a core 3 in terms of like lender, title. When it comes to other vendors that you're just offering in businesses to highlight, like you don't have to have 3 coffee stores or 3 hair salons, things like that. But when it comes in terms of things they'll need, like home inspectors and lenders and title and things like that, I'd always have, I wouldn't have more than 3. You have to have more than 1, but I'd have 3 or less, if that makes sense.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? Business to business is fun. I loved that. And if you're kind of like, where do I start? After you pick an area, there was a bold exercise that they made us go A to Z. And okay, a business that starts with the letter A, or category of A, like accountant, right? B, gosh, I'm already stumped, but a B, throw that in, right? A bank.
Banker.
Right, thank you, banker. C, someone else. And you could even, if you're stuck, you can think, okay, here's the area I want to focus on. Now I'm going to try to hit all these categories and reach out and make connections. If you reach out and make a connection with somebody and you don't like them, just like you're not going to work with a client. Well, most of the time you're not going to work with the client or take on a client that you don't like or you don't want to work with. Don't pick a business partner that way either. You know, it's okay if you go in and you have a conversation, you're like, oh, that didn't really go like I wanted to. I'm not going to go ahead and follow them through that plan and, advertise them. So, good. Anything else? All right. I can only see 3 of you, so I'm assuming the rest of you are okay. It shifts from time to time being in here. James, the list. I will put the list, this business to business list. I'll just put it on the main page right now of our PCX, and I'll post it on Facebook too. I'll copy and paste it.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. All right, you guys, have an amazing weekend.
This video was brought to you by Keller Williams Arizona Realty TV. Check out the rest of our channel for more amazing real estate training videos. If you like what you see, like and subscribe, and hit that bell so you get notified when a new episode comes out.